welcome to Yin Yoga. Um, I'm doing things a little different, but I did want to cover some basics. And for those who don't know me, who are not a member of my Yin Yoga class, I teach Yin Yoga for the City of Auburn Parks and Recreation. Once we are able to go back to our routine, if you'd like to join a class, please feel free to join me. I did want to talk about a few things that I didn't talk about last week. Sometimes we use a block, sometimes we use a strap. I always recommend you have a blanket, because if you have a blanket when we're on our hands and knees, then it will help you, give you some extra padding under your knees. And sometimes we use those also to use in different postures. So those are just some things that we do use in a typical yin practice. A yin yoga practice is very different. We hold our postures for a length of time, and it's meant to relax you. It's more of a passive practice, and it's meant to release tension around your joints and give you some flexibility. It's meant to calm your mind, your body, and your breath, and we do also offer opportunities to do some breath work. So today we're going to start our practice. If you're going to practice today, I suggest if you have a block, go and get your block ready. We won't use a strap today, but we will use a block. So we'll go ahead and get started. So let's get started today. First, we're going to just sit comfortably. This is called our easy seated posture. I want you to just sit comfortably. I do have some music in the background today. It is a Pandora station. It's called Yoga Sanctuary, and I do pay for that subscription, so that's the music that's playing in the background. So let's get started. Let's just sit comfortably in our easy seated posture. Just place your hands, palms facing up, on the top of your knees. Close your eyes, and we're going to just start with a little bit of breath work. So you're breathing in through your nose, and let that exhale roll all the way out. And as we move through our practice, hopefully the depth of your breath will become deeper, and you'll notice that that breath is also helping you relax in your postures. Let's take an inhale through your nose. You want that breath to go all the way into your belly, and then let that exhale roll gently out. Continue inhaling through your nose. Feel that lift with your breath. And I like to say that we insert a pause between our inhale and our exhale. And then just let that exhale roll out. Let's imagine our breath being almost like an ocean wave, rolling in and then rolling out. So let's just sit comfortably for just a few moments. Before we start our practice, breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth, just at your own pace. Alright, let's open our eyes and we'll go ahead and get started. The first posture we're going to come into is called a hero pose. And we're going to sit, I'm going to turn sideways. You're going to sit with your legs folded underneath the tops of your feet flat on the mat. You can use your blanket if you'd like, and place that under your knees. Now, I do offer some modifications. If you have knee compression issues, you would want to keep a lift. You could even take that blanket and insert it right behind your knees and place it right between your back of your legs and the back of your thighs, and that gives you an extra lift if you have some issues with knee compression. All through our practice, I will offer some modifications. We do hold our postures for length of time. If that's an issue for you and you become uncomfortable, always come out of that posture. We're never going to try to focus on going to a posture and going to a place of pain. So always know that you need to come out of that posture if you experience any pain at all. So sit comfortably in our hero pose. Just sit tall, let your shoulders relax, take a deep inhale through your nose, and exhale through your mouth. And you'll notice that the longer you stay in a pose, the depth of your exhale is what helps relax your body. So continue to inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth. Alright, let's slowly turn over to that left side. Take that back hand, drop it right behind you, and take your gaze over to the side of the wall. Come back to the center and let's twist over to our right. And back to the center. We're going to come into the next posture, which is called half Lord of the Fishes. So we're going to extend our legs out long at the front of our mat, and we're going to take that right leg, we're going to cross over our left leg, and we're going to plant that sole of our foot on our right foot down to the mat. We're going to sit up nice and tall. We're going to wrap that left arm around the outside of your shin, and then drop that back hand, lift and rotate, and take your gaze over to the wall. Feel your belly against that thigh on the front, inhaling and exhaling. Let's come back to the center. Let's uncross that right leg off your left. And let's come into what we call dragonfly. So your legs are spread wide and your knees are soft. You're not locking out your knees. Now, if you have a block, you can use your block to use it as a reference point if you're coming into your forward fold, enough that you can allow your head to rest on that block. But it's not mandatory for you to come into that fold that deep. In our yin practice, we want to remind you, you go to your particular edge. You listen to your body, and your place in your posture may be different than your neighbors. It may be different from one day to the next. So honor where you need to be in this posture. So we're going to sit nice and tall. We're going to walk our fingertips toward the middle of the mat. Follow your gaze with your fingertips and just stay there for a few moments. Allow your breath to just kind of let you acclimate to this forward fold. You want to be hinging right at your hips and your breath coming out through the top of your head. On your next inhale, maybe you can come a little bit deeper. I'm not going to be able to touch that block today, so I'm going to just place it over by the side. Drop your gaze right between your arms. Maybe flip your palms open and then pull your elbows back to the middle of your body. And just relax here. This is the first posture we're going to hold for a little bit more time. And as you're in this posture, just allow your breath to become deeper. Relax. Let your inhales go deep into your belly. And your exhales just relax you. And let's flip your palms over. Take your inhale and then slowly begin to walk your hands back toward the center of your body. Come back up to that seated posture. And then just shake out your legs just a little bit. Let's bring our legs back to the center of our mat, and we'll do our half Lord of the Fishes on the opposite side. So we're going to bring that left leg across that extended right leg, planting that foot, sitting nice and tall, letting that breath sink us down to the mat. And we're going to wrap our right arm around the outside of our shin, and then drop that back hand, and then take an inhale, slowly lift and twist, and take your gaze to the wall. Notice your breath in your belly against the side of your thigh. All right, let's slowly come back to the center. Let's uncross that left leg off your right. Shake everything out, and let's go ahead and we're going to do another little bit of a forward fold, but we're going to bring the soles of our feet together in the middle of our mat and walk your heels up a little bit towards the center of your body. You want to create that diamond shape. We're going to drop our hands right down on the outside of our feet. Make sure that you're sitting comfortably, your sit bones are nice and grounded. And on your next inhale, we're going to slowly walk our fingertips toward the top of our mat or out to the side of our mat, and take our gaze down to the middle of the mat, right at our feet. You can flip your palms, and you can let your elbows rest in the crease of your legs. And just let your breath take you into that forward fold. Try to relax your hips, relax your knees to the sides of the mat. This is called our butterfly pose. Let your breath relax you. Let your shoulders relax. Relax your jaw. Notice that your inhale is going all the way deep into your belly, and your exhale rolling out softly. Flip your palms over on your next inhale. Begin to walk your fingertips back up. Come back up to that seated posture. Now let's fold our legs to the center. Knees are up to the ceiling. And we're going to do what we call windshield wipers. So you're going to drop your hands right behind your hips. Lift up through your chest and just wipe your knees from side to side. And when we get back to that left side, let's let that left knee fall down to the floor, and let's let that right knee fall down to the floor. Pick up the heel of your left foot, place it on the outside of your right thigh. Try to sit nice and tall, grounded into your hips, and let the weight of your ankle be that grounding weight for that right leg down to your mat. Maybe close your eyes. Inhale and exhale. let's take that left ankle off of our right thigh. Bring those legs back to the center. Windshield wipe both legs from side to side. And now let's drop that right knee to the side of the mat and bring our left knee down to the mat. Let's bring our right ankle over on top of our left thigh. Sit nice and tall and let the weight of that ankle help give you that sensation of that stretch on the outside of your left hip. Both hips are grounded down to the mat. Close your eyes, breathe inhale through your nose, and let that exhale give you a sensation of grounding. All right, let's remove that right ankle off the left and bring our legs back up to the center. And we're going to transition now into what we call a tabletop. If you need that extra padding up under your knees, now is a good time to grab your blanket. You can unfold your blanket right in the middle of your mat and then come onto your hands and knees. This is called our tabletop, our neutral position. In that position, we want our wrists right up under our shoulders, fingers spread wide, and knees about hip width apart with our hips stacked over our knees. So we use this as a transition posture just to take us from one posture to the next. So we're going to come into a child's pose. So I want you to go ahead and slowly sink your hips toward your heels. And then let's walk our fingertips toward the top of your mat and then drop your forehead down between your arms. And this is called a child's pose. Now, if you have some issues with your shoulders and reaching for the top of your mat is too intense, you can always bring your arms back down by your head and bring them in cactus arms or goalpost arms. So we're going to hold this posture for a little bit longer. So I want you to just relax. You can widen your knees to the width of your mat if you need more space in the middle for your stomach and your chest, so you can find your breath. Now, one option also for your hands is bringing your hands together in the middle, stacking your fists, and letting your forehead rest on those stacked fists. Just learn how to listen to me, and hopefully you won't feel as if you're trying to watch the things we're doing. So let's just we want to find stillness. We want to find sustainability in our posture. So you want to make sure you're comfortable and you can stay there and you can let your body relax and find your breath. Let's take an inhale and slowly begin to lift your hips from your hips. Come back to that neutral tabletop. Before we come into our next posture, I want you to do a little bit of a stretch from side to side. So we're going to drop our hips over to the right side, and we're going to take our gaze to the left, around to the back of our mat, just to give our hips a stretch on the side. Come back to that neutral position. Drop your hips to the left and take your gaze around to the back, to the right. And back to the center. Now, I'm going to take my blanket and move it away, but if you feel like you need to keep that blanket, feel free to do so. We're returning back into our neutral tabletop. We're going to walk our legs back toward the back of our mat. I want you to take a deep inhale, shift your weight into the top of your head, come into a modified plank, nice and lifted, feeling nice and strong, shoulders are soft. And then let your exhale bring you all the way down onto your belly. Walk your fingertips toward the top of your mat. Bring your elbows right up under your shoulders. Take each toe to each corner of your mat in the back. Tuck your toes, pick up your legs as if you're kind of wiggling everything loose, and then relax your legs and your feet back down to the mat. So your gaze is right between your arms. This is called our Sphinx pose. And we're going to take an inhale. We're going to lift up through our chest, lift up through our belly. And you want to sustain your gaze either forward, or you can drop your gaze right between your arms. We're going to stay here for a length of time, so just feel as if you can sustain yourself here. And I want you to take a big inhale through your nose, and as you exhale, let the sides of your hips relax out to the wall. Try to not hold contraction of your muscles there. Now with each inhale, I want you to see if you can notice your breath into your belly against the center of your mat. And with each exhale, just feel maybe your low back and your hips relax. This is a very good posture if you have low back issues. You want to maintain your integrity in your chest, staying lifted, shoulders soft, down toward the back of the room. Deep inhales through your nose, all the way into your belly. Just insert that pause between your inhales and your exhales. Relax your jaw, keep that breath deep. With each exhale, notice your body just relax. Notice your tension release, maybe in your hips, in your low back. Alright, let's slowly begin to lower back down to the mat. Walk your fingertips right behind your shoulders, elbows glued next to your rib cage. And on your next inhale, lift back into that modified plank. And then we're going to slowly begin to bring our knees back to the width of our mat. Toes are wide. Bring your big toes together. And then exhale, drop your hips toward your heels. And we're going to walk our fingertips and our hands to the width of our mat. And we're going to let our forehead and our chest relax down to the mat. This is called a wide knee child's pose. This is a counter pose for that deep flexion in our low back. Notice your breath deep down into your belly, and with your knees wide on the mat, you should be able to find the depth of your breath deep into your belly. Taking that deep inhale through your nose and let that exhale roll gently out. As you take that next inhale, slowly lift back up, lift your hips from your heels, bring your knees back to the center, and come back into your neutral tabletop. Alright, we're going to do one more thing on our belly. Alright, in your neutral tabletop, walk your legs back down to the back of your mat. Knees are about hip width apart. Take an inhale, glide into that modified plank one more time. And then exhale, lower all the way onto your belly. And then we're going to keep our chest lifted, and we're going to walk our left arm right across our breast line over to the opposite side. And we're going to thread our right arm behind our left arm. So our crossed arms are going right across our breast line. This is called crisscross arms. And you're going to just walk your fingertips as close to the sides as you can. Palms are facing up. And then you can grab your block if you'd like. And you can use it to just let your forehead rest on that block. And you're going to let your body weight just settle on those arms. Now, if you have some issues with some shoulder discomfort here, you can always bring those arms back more to the center of your body and stay more lifted. You want your body weight to just settle on those crisscross arms to give you that sensation in the outside and the backs of your shoulders. Now slowly begin to lift up your forehead. Begin to pull your arms back more to the center. And we're going to switch arms. So our right arm was on the bottom. This time it's going to go over the top. Our left arm is going behind, and we're going to thread our arms across our breast line, palms facing up. And if you can tolerate your body weight to settle, just let your forehead rest on that block and let your breath settle your weight into this posture. As you take your next inhale, slowly begin to lift up, unthread your arms, come back to your belly, bring your arms out to your sides, and then bring your fingertips right behind your shoulders. Glue your elbows to your rib cage. Take an inhale, lift to that modified plank, and then slowly come back up to that neutral tabletop. In that neutral tabletop, we're just going to shift our weight and come back to a seated posture. So in that seated posture, we're going to bring our legs out long right in front of us, and we're going to do what we call a staff pose. So our staff pose is our legs, it helps reset our spine. So our staff pose, our legs are extended out to the front but not locked. And we're going to drop our fingertips right behind our hips. We're going to fold our elbows into the middle, folding our shoulders into the middle of our body and the back. And we're going to take an inhale, lift through your chest with your breath. Maybe close your eyes and let your exhale, just feel that exhale go all the way down to your tailbone. Let's do that a few more times. Inhaling, lifting up through your chest, rolling your shoulders open, and exhaling back down to the mat. And then one more time. Inhale, lift, and exhale. All right, good job. All right, let's go ahead and come around and come down onto our back. So you're going to turn, keep your block handy. We're going to go ahead and roll all the way down onto our back, very gently, very softly. Once you get down onto your back, I want you to bring your knees to your chest and just hug your knees with holding with your hands around your shins or the back of your thighs. We're not forcing our knees to our chest. And let's just go ahead and rock from side to side. Nice gentle rock, just to massage our low back. All right, let's place our hands on the top of our knees, and we're going to drive our knees clockwise very slowly. And then counterclockwise. Just feel that massage in your low back. All right, bring your knees back to that neutral position. Drop your feet down to the floor and walk your heels close to the back of your hips. Let your hands rest comfortably by your side. Now you're going to keep your block close by, and I want you to take an inhale and lift into a bridge, and then insert that block. It's flat and horizontal right up under your hips. You want to be able to feel as if that block is supporting your hips and you feel comfortable. You feel like you're not teetering on the edge. You don't feel like you're gonna, it's the edges of the block are not digging into any part of your low back or your hips. Alright, let's take an inhale and we're going to slowly bring our feet into table, or our legs into table, and then very slowly extend your feet to the ceiling for legs up the wall. So it's as if we're trying to touch the ceiling with the bottom of our feet, and this is called legs up the wall. Just stay here. Just feel how relaxed this feels for your low back. Make sure that your shoulders are untucked and your chin is lined up somewhat with the top of your chest. All right, let's go ahead and reach for the backs of your thighs, your calves, and slowly begin to bring your toes toward your forehead. Not forcing anything, just letting your hands be a little bit of a weight to assist your toes to come toward your head. The goal is not to drop your feet over your head into plow. It's just to give you that stretch in the back of your hamstrings. Let's just stay here, breathe very deeply. Finding your depth of your breath back in these postures that might feel a little bit more confining, just returning to that deep inhale through your nose and that slow exhale through your mouth. And with time, you notice that you feel that minute change in where you are in the postures. Things start to relax, your muscles relax, your body responds to that exhale. Now very slowly bring your legs more back up to the center with our feet reaching toward the ceiling. And we're going to very slowly put a bend in that left leg, and then very slowly bring that foot back down to the floor and just keep our right leg extended, reaching behind the back of our thigh, the back of our calf, and giving ourselves that extra stretch in that one leg. Now you may feel some sensation of a stretch in the top of your quadricep on that left, which is very normal if you're very tight. Now let's go ahead and extend that left leg out long if you can. This is to help open that psoas area on the top of our hips and that hip flexor area. If that feels as if it's too much tension there, just put a bend back in your knee. And if you need to make an adjustment in your block, you can do so. Just as long as you feel as if you can sustain this posture. And we're going to just close our eyes, breathe very deeply in through your nose and out through your mouth. Don't worry about this leg being straight. You don't want that knee locked out. You want it just a nice soft bend is fine. Whatever you need from the comfort of the posture. Now go ahead and put a bend in that left knee. Bring it back up off the floor, and then let's drop our right knee down and bring your knees towards your chest. we're just letting our hands rest lightly on the top of our shins. We're not giving any pull toward our chest for our knees. Now go ahead and extend that left leg nice and long. Reach for the ceiling with the bottom of your left foot. And then very slowly drop that right foot down to the floor. Reach for the back of your thigh, calf, or wherever you are with this left leg. Just a very gentle touch to add weight. And if you can extend that right leg nice and long, opening the top of that hip flexor, that psoas area. We'll stay here for a moment. Just relax. Try to keep your shoulders soft. No, you don't have to feel as if you're activating any muscles to hold that leg. It just acts as support. Maybe close your eyes, breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Now slowly begin to put a bend in that right knee. Bring it up toward your chest. Bend that left leg. Bring both knees toward your chest. And let's just cross our ankles and let our knees fall toward our chest. All right, let's uncross those ankles. Very slowly, bring both feet back down to the floor. Your heels are as close to your hips as you can. And then your hands are dropped right down by your side on your mat. When you're ready, take an inhale and lift up. Take your block away and then slowly roll down back to your mat. And let's go ahead and windshield wipe your knees from side to side. Just wake everything up. All right, let's bring our knees back up to the center. And then we're going to walk our feet together, bring our knees a little bit closer together. We're going to shift our hips slightly over to the right side of the mat. We're going to cross that right leg over our left. We're going to bring our arms out into a T. And we're going to come into what we call twisted roots. So when you're ready, let's slowly take a big inhale. And then let your exhale bring those twisted roots over to that left side of the mat. And you want your right shoulder to stay grounded and soft to the floor. If it's popping up and that's just too much tension for you, you can just bring it slightly more down by your side, or you can make an adjustment in goalpost on that side. You want to let the weight of your hips drop over to the left. Now, if your hips or your twisted roots are still here, that's perfectly fine. Just listen to your body. And if you have that block and you feel you need that block to help catch your knees, you can place that block right up under your knees. That's why it's so good to have a block or blanket with you during your practice. And so now we're going to take our gaze in the opposite direction. So turn your gaze over to the right side with our knees dropping to our left. This is a heart opener, a chest opener, and it also helps the back side of our hips in that piriformis area where we hold a lot of tension in our hips. Breathe deep through your nose and out through your mouth. Bring your gaze back to the center. Take an inhale. Slowly bring your twisted roots back to the center. Shift your hips back to the center. Uncross that right leg off of your left. And just windshield wipe your knees from side to side. And we'll do the other side. This is a chest expansion. It's a heart opener, and it should offer a spinal twist also. So let's shift our hips now over to the left side of our mat. Cross your left leg over your right. And then very slowly, as you take your exhale, let your body flow with your exhale. Let's let our knees drop over to our right. And again, if your knees are not going toward the floor and you feel like you need something to land for your knees, take your block to that side and let your knees land on that block if you need to. Bring your arms back out into that T if they're not already there. And then slowly take your gaze to the left side. Close your eyes. Take your deep inhales and your exhales. And let's stay here. Allow your breath to open your body. Now very slowly bring your gaze back up to the center. On your next inhale, slowly bring your knees back up to the center. Shift your hips back to the center of your mat. Uncross that left leg off your right. And you can go ahead and bring your arms slightly down by your side. Alright, the next posture we're going to do is called a banana pose. So we're going to extend our legs to the length of our mat. And we're going to walk our heels all the way over to the left corner of our mat. And we're going to take our arms, sweep them overhead, and we're going to take our both arms over to the left corner of our mat. We're going to use that left hand to reach around the wrist of our right hand. You want your shoulders to be soft on the floor. And you're going to take that right ankle and you're going to cross it over your left. This is called a banana. You want your hips to be grounded on the mat. You don't want to be rolling up on that right side. And I want you to just close your eyes, let your head fall over to that left. Let your shoulders relax. And I want you to just visualize your breath starting at your fingertips on that right hand. Take a big inhale, let that breath go down right up under your armpit. And then visualize that breath down into your rib cage. All the way down into the side of your hip. Down into your thigh. And then all the way out the toes of your right foot. Breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. See if you can feel the sensation of your belly rising with that inhale. The whole front of your body is open, and you should be able to really be aware of your breath down into your belly. Alright, slowly begin to bring your gaze back up to the ceiling. Bring your arms down by your side. Uncross your right ankle off your left. Bring your knees up to the ceiling. Shift your hips back to the center of your mat. And just windshield wipe your legs from side to side. Alright, let's do the right side. So you're going to walk both feet over to the right corner of your mat. Shift your hips slightly over to the left corner of your mat. Sweep your arms overhead. Take both arms or hands over to that right corner. And you're going to reach with your right fingers around the left wrist. And then drop, let your gaze or let your head fall over to the left side of the mat. You're going to cross that left ankle over your right. And you're going to make sure your hips are still grounded down onto your mat, and you're not coming up off your mat. If you are, then slightly decrease that inversion on that side. Now notice if your arm or your shoulder is popping up off the mat, try to soften everything down. And just imagine that breath starting at the left fingertips, going down the left side of your body. Notice where the tightness may be. All the way into the side of your hip. Across that left leg, all the way out your toes as you take that inhale. Feel your belly rise with the inhale and contract with the exhale. Alright, bring your gaze back up to the center. Slowly bring your arms down by your side. Uncross your left foot off your ankle on the right. And just bring your heels to each corner of your mat. Make any adjustments you need to on your mat. And this is going to be our corpse pose. This will be our final resting pose. So you want to just allow your legs to just fall open. You want to drop your hands down by your side, palms are facing up. Now this is where, if you have a blanket, if you'd like to put the blanket under you, or you can spread the blanket across you, then you can grab your blanket and do so. So I want you to just close your eyes, let your hands fall open, let your legs relax, shake everything out. And then just relax, just take a deep inhale through your nose and just find that natural flow of your breath. I want you to just focus on enjoying the next few moments to just allow your body to completely relax. This is where we say we seal our practice with our Shavasana. This is our Shavasana. So just enjoy your quietness. No need to watch what I'm doing. Just let your body relax. Bring your awareness back to the room. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. And then slowly turn over onto your side. Bring your knees up toward your chest. And you can let your arms be your pillow. Just stay here for a moment. And I want you to just notice how you feel from front to back. Just take a deep inhale. Let that breath go all the way down your spine and back around to the top of your head. Alright, use your top hand and then very slowly push your way back up and meet me back in an easy seated posture. Now, I usually like to close our practice with a little bit of a quote or a reading or something to just kind of seal our practice and close our practice. So today I have something that I want to read. It says, "You are competition. Don't be distracted by judging yourself against others. Set your own standards. Judge yourself against those standards. Do it honestly and without delusion. Accept your verdict and move on." And William Ernest Henley said, "I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul." So our philosophy in our yoga practice is no competition, no judgment. So that's a very appropriate reading to help us remind ourselves of that. So let's take an inhale, lift your hands up, bring your palms together, exhale, hands to heart. The light in you guides the light in me, and I close our practice with Namaste. join me on Wednesday and look for another video for another session for Yin Yoga. And I appreciate you joining me. Bye.